Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about Lucas's speech therapy. So I did the first video, which was included in his 18-month update, and I'll link that above and down below. And I just talked a little bit about his speech therapy. He's going to have to start going through that process, and I thought I would just document it and share it with you guys. So he had his initial first visit, which was the main, I guess you can, I'm not sure the proper word, but maybe I would say she was like the main coordinator that called the therapist and books the appointments and does all the paperwork. And so that lady came, and then the therapist came. And then there was a third person, but she was training with the therapist, and that third person's actually going to be Lucas's main therapist, that she will come by herself after the initial visit that she just did. So anyway, this took, I believe it took almost 2.5 hours. And like I said, this was the first initial visit, so they were wanting to determine if Lucas qualified to get therapy. And there's a lot of other specific things that I can't remember in detail, because I was trying to listen and pay attention, but she was basically, the therapist talking to me, she was basically telling me, Lucas needs to be in this certain percentile for him to qualify, but if he's over the percentile, they can't really do therapy, but they can help with certain things. So anyway, like I said, it took about a good 2 hours, 2.5. And after they did everything, and they determined that Lucas's age range, I guess you can say, with his development and speech area, because he is 19 months right now. After they did the whole session on him, they realized that he's basically around an 11-month-old on how they interact with babbling and so forth, stuff like that. So since he was around the 11-month range and he's actually 19 months, almost 20 months, then he ended up qualifying. He was in that certain percentile. So it was one of those things where it was sad because, they're like, yes, he does need therapy, he needs some help. So it was sad, but at the same time I was like, good, I'm kind of glad he did qualify, because now we can get him some help, early on in life instead of waiting or not doing anything. So I really hope this helps. But anyway, the whole process that they did, it wasn't basic therapy teaching Lucas certain things, because we haven't started therapy yet. But the therapist brought a suitcase, and she had blocks, she had just little knick-knacky toys, so they can assess him and see how he was developing, and then they would take notes at the end, and that they can see what's going on. But just like you see in the movies, I've seen it in the movies before, with when they show children doing therapy sessions or something, they have little toys, and it's Lucas, see if he follows directions. They were trying to get him to do that. They were like, okay, Lucas, can you up, down, give me, clap. I mean, it was just, like I said, it was 2 hours worth of stuff. So it was really interesting to watch. The main coordinator, she was kind of off to the side with her computer, and then she was asking me questions about Lucas. So I was kind of interacting with her, but paying attention to Lucas just a little bit. But I was trying to step aside and, let them do their thing so they can properly assess him. But what's actually funny, and I wasn't going to mention this, but they finished the therapy, and probably the last 20-30 minutes they were doing computer work and just sharing information about what they would like to see Lucas accomplish, over a certain amount of time. Anyway, Lucas threw the biggest tantrum. I think that tantrum can go in the record books for one of the top 5 biggest tantrums he's ever done. It was horrible, and it was one of those things where I was trying not to get embarrassed because I knew it was Lucas and he was going to do it. But at the same time, I was like, I'm kind of glad you're doing this in front of them. So, you know, you guys, and I even said later, I was like, sorry about that, but I'm glad y'all saw this. And the therapist was like, no, you know, don't apologize. This, you know, I'm really glad that he actually did this. We can see visually what he's doing. So me and the therapist talked for a couple of minutes after Lucas calmed down, which took like 30 minutes from his tantrum. And we were both, you know, I was telling her, hey, you know, I understand it could be those terrible twos that are starting early. We just kind of let him do his thing, just make sure he's not in danger and walk away and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, no, that's what you're supposed to do. That's the best thing to do. But she was saying, let's try and work on that. Maybe try and see if, you know, and she was talking about like an occupational therapist, which I know what that is, but I never thought they had those specific, you know, the occupational therapists for a child, in the sense of she was putting that therapist to help Lucas calm down better. So I was like, that's gonna be interesting. But for right now, because, you know, Lucas is so young, you don't want to cloud his mind and confuse him with all these new people coming over. And of course, I've said before, they come over to our house, which is really, really nice, so we don't have to worry about going to, you know, a strange environment. So anyway, they're gonna wait and let the main therapist come a couple of times. I think we're gonna do the therapist for about a month or so, and then they'll probably introduce the occupational therapist and try and work on his calming mechanisms. So that one will be pretty interesting. But overall, even though it was a good 2.5-3 hour visit, it was just basically assessing and seeing if Lucas qualified, and he did. So I'm kind of glad we're going to start this early. Like I said, he's 19 months, almost 20 months, and I'm ready to get this going, get this started, and hopefully in a couple months this really helps. But like I said, I'm going to keep documenting each visit just to kind of give you an overview. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that all goes well, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.